Hey, welcome to Adventures with Peps. Today we are back in the Badab Wars and we are painting a Novamarine. For this project I'm going to use a push fit, I believe it's a Primaris Marine. I have a few of these kicking around, so I thought, let's paint them. I enjoyed the Howling Griffin so much, I just thought I had to do another quartered scheme. So I went with the Novamarines. So a little bit about them. The Novamarines are, with one exception, hardline followers of the Codex, the great organisational work of the Ultramarines Primarch Reboot Gilliman. So I'm going to start off by painting the eye lenses, simple yellow. But yeah, their adherence to the Codex is so strong that they have drawn the blood of those who would scorn it. They have a very hardline attitude that extends to other facets of the Imperial Fort, with the Novamarines being a notable proponent of the mono-dominant philosophy. Basically, they hate all Xenos life form. There is just no excuse for the Xenos in their mind. If you're not one of them, you're against them. Their founding happened from the Ultramarine gene seed, and they were created soon after the Horus Heresy, like a lot of the second foundings. And they came from Captain Lucretius Corvo, who I've recently reached in the Horus Heresy novels, so it's quite cool to see his name popping up. They also were involved in the Badab War, as we've probably all figured out. That's why they're in this series. And with the eye lenses done, we move on to the High Lord Blue, which we'll use to quarter. Yeah, the paint scheme for this model was a bit confusing because a lot of places I read bone, but I see a lot of white schemes, to be honest. I also see that the backpack is technically in some models matching the quartered scheme, i.e. the blue on the left-hand side is also the left-hand side of the backpack. But then in other artwork, it's behind the white on the right-hand side. So I really don't know which way around I should paint it. I end up sticking with the blue being on the same side, just so it didn't look weird. Also made it a lot easier for me to paint. I am using the Army Speed Painters. I just love the Army Speed Paint. It just goes on very easily. You get a great effect. It's very easy to lighten them up or darken them by adding more pigment in. And I just think they're so good. So during the Badab War, let's get back into the fluff. They basically didn't do much, to be honest. They only sent in 2 companies and 3 strike cruisers. And they just helped out the other detachments that were involved in the war and took over the role of guarding the supply lines from the Firehawks that we painted in a previous video. I'll attach a link to that in the descriptions. And ultimately, they just hate anything that is not human. They are fully xenophobic to the point that the Inquisition used them to go after the alien races. And they're very rarely actually at full strength, preferring to be sent off in smaller groups to fight the aliens wherever needed. But they did come together for the 13th Black Crusade, and they are currently, I believe, wrapped up with fighting in the Ultramar region, like a lot of the Ultramarine successors, as they battle the Plague Lords, or the Death Guard, I guess. I really don't think there's much special about them. They're basically Ultramarines with a different paint scheme and a lot more against the alien. I think it'd be pretty cool to actually read their thoughts on their Primarch's behavior, because he's fully in with the Eldar now. There's no point trying to deny that truth to anyone. He is now the whipping boy of the Eldar. And this is probably going to annoy some fans. Anyway, let's get back to the paint job. And through the power of magic and good editing, you can now see the blue is complete. I haven't done the backpack yet, but I will get that out. Look, I just love how this blue looks. It's just naturally already giving it the shade. It goes on so nicely. I just wish I was slightly more talented when it came to painting and could do some of the effects that I'm seeing other people achieve with these speed paints. But God, do I love the fact that I can paint a miniature in 30 to 40 minutes and have a result that I'm very happy with. And there we go, the blue is down. To be fair, if you were really desperate, that's a free colour paint job. It's white, yellow and blue. That is tournament ready. You can stop there, end of the video. We will keep going though. It'd be rude not to. But look at the blue, it's so pretty. The next stage is to start working on the pouches and the dark leather, as I decided to go with. So I'm using the Army Painter Dark Wood. Technically, it's a wood colour. The clue is in the name. But it's a nice darker brown compared to the actual leather paint you get in the set. And I just thought with the bright blue and the white scheme that's going on with this model, some dark brown would just pop against the model. So make sure to carefully get the pouches, the belts, I think I do the gun handle and the knife handle. So with the blue now dry and the brown dry, we move on to the grim black. And we're going to use this for all the armor joints, the flexible cords that you can see behind the knees, in the elbows, on his belly. This color just goes on so well. Look at it, you can just see it going in perfectly and shading. Like it's got a lovely dark shadow plus a grey tone to it. I love this color. I just love these paints. They're so much better than contrast. Probably people are going to hang me out to dry for that one. I know it's a newer set and there's a lot less colors in the range, but I can forgive when I can get such great effects. Over white, it looks wonderful. Over a grey, it looks great. It just works, and I like stuff that just works. So looking at the miniature now, you can see where we're heading. I think it looks great already. There's a little wobble on the helmet that I will try and fix at a later day. But for now, I just think this looks great. This is a great scheme. Definitely not one that I'd want to do for a whole army, but it does look good. So we then grab the pallid bone, and I'm just going to pick out two little spots, getting the skull on his chest and his little parchment paper on his wrist. Nothing fancy. Just get the paint on, give it that bone effect. And then we can move on to the next stage. So with the paint drying, we move on to a green colour called Absolution Green. First time using it. It makes me think of Dark Angels. It's a nice dark foresty green. Perfect for grenades. I'm going to pick those two on his chest. And then we'll hit up the remaining grenades slash smoke bombs, I think they would be, on his belt round the back. This is a very nice colour. I think it would make for a great orc's flesh colour for like some knobs, or even actually painting some Dark Angels if I ever get around to attempting any of the other chapters that were outside of the Badab War. I think it might be close to the Salamander Green. I need to do a bit more research. I'm not entirely sure how dark their green is. And on that point, who am I going to paint next? I'm thinking I stick to white and blue. And we do the Marine Errant next. But drop me a comment. Let me know which chapter I should do next, because I need to know. As you saw, I'm now using the Hive Dweller Purple. This is not Gene Stealer Purple, it's Hive Dweller Purple. Just to pick out the purity seal. I was thinking about using red, but it's always red, and I just wanted something a little bit different. So we just went with purple. Simple. Now, considering how much hate I gave this blood red paint when I was doing the Howling Griffins, I've gone on to use it on every Space Marine that I've painted since. Please forgive me, blood red. I did not mean to be mean to you. I've come to appreciate your glorious colour. And I'm just going to use it on the pistol, just as the gun casing. I think in the artwork, everything is black. Black guns. I've seen a couple of blue guns kicking around that matched the blue of their body armor. I really didn't like that. I like pops of color, so we're going with the red. And we just do the gun casing. Nothing too exciting. So with the red gun casing drying, we now dig out the runic grey, which, as by now you should all know, I use this to represent my metallics. I'm just going to brush this onto his combat knife. I'm also going to use it on his pistol. It's just beautiful. Look at that. One sweep and it's done. That knife took 3 sweeps in total, one on each side, one on top. And a little touch up to get into the recesses. And look at the effect I've got. It just works, guys. If you haven't treated yourself to some of these paints, please do. I stupidly should have waited a bit longer for the red, and you will see some of it bleed in a minute, especially on the magazine. This is just me being lazy and not actually giving it the time it deserved to dry properly. I clean that up later on, but it is something to realise it does take a while to dry properly. If you put wet on wet, they blend together. Sometimes it's an effect you want, sometimes it's a mistake. This time it was a mistake, and I will fix it up. And just like that, we've only got the white left to do. The white that terrifies me. So we get the Holy White speed paint out. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. Do I cover the entire model? Do I just try to do the recesses? I was not sure. Initially, I tried to do just the recesses, as you'll see on his foot here. And then I was like, what am I doing? Trust the paint. And I just end up slapping it on all over. And it worked. I was worried at one point because it was going a bit grey. But ultimately, as it dried up, the high points took on a white shade, and the low points took on a darker grey shade. And it got rid of the bright white effect that it currently had because of the primer. It didn't go full on bone, which is how they are described in the fluff. But it did reach a point where it wasn't pristine white, but it wasn't a dirty grey either. And I really like the effect. So hopefully we'll do a very nice transition in a minute. And you'll see how it kind of looked as it was finishing up drying. And then we'll stick it on the plinth and we'll have the final look at it. And there we go. We have our 4th Loyalist Badab War Space Marine. Welcome the Novamarines to the battle. I really enjoyed painting this model. I think the colours have sat very nicely. It's still wet in this picture. And you get a beautiful my hand rotation happening. But look at the colour on the shoulder. Even the grey looks nice. There's definitely some touch-ups I need to do. If I want to take it to the next level, I definitely want to hit the white with a dry brush. But I absolutely love it. So as always, thank you for watching. Hope you like, subscribe, and follow again for the next episode. Until next time.